Hello everyone, this is our Junior Certificate Mathematics lesson, and today we are looking at revision mathematics paper 1. This is a multiple choice paper and you are not allowed to use a calculator. The only resource that you are allowed to use in this paper is a set of mathematical instruments, so no calculators. Let us have a look at the first question. The first question says, a church has 40 members, of which 25 are female. One member is selected randomly to attend a conference. Calculate the probability that the member selected is a male. So we are told that a church has got 40 members. 40 members, and of these 40, 25 are female. And then the question says you have to calculate, rather find the probability of male. Now, if there are 25 female, how many male are there? This will simply be 40 minus 25. And then this will be 10 minus 5. This is a 5 here. We are remaining with a 3 here. And then this will be a 1 here, meaning there are 15 male. And then to find the probability of the male, it will be the 15, which is what you are looking for, divided by the total number of the members rather. So this will be 15 over 40, because you are told that this church has got 40 members. So it will be 15 divided by 40. And then make sure that you simplify this, because it's either you get under probability, you may get the answer as 15 over 40, or the answer may be simplified. So let us simplify this. 5 into 15 is a 3, divided by, and then 5 into 40 is 8. So the probability of selecting a male is 3 out of 8. We check from the solutions here. Do we have an alternative? 3 over 8. The first one is 1 over 40. It's not correct. B, 3 over 5 is not correct. And then we have 5 over 8 is not correct. We got 3 over 8, and that is represented at alternative D. So you circle D to indicate that you have answered this question. And then question number 2 says, what is 3, open the brackets, r plus s, close the bracket, plus 2, open the bracket, 3r plus s, and you close the bracket, when expressed in simplified form. So this is what we have, and then we are asked to simplify this. To simplify this, we are simply going to remove the brackets. And then how do we remove the brackets? We multiply each term inside the bracket, in the first bracket here, by 3, and then the term inside the second bracket here by 2. And upon multiplying the term in the first bracket by 3, we have 3r, because it's 3 times r is 3r, and then 3 times s is plus 3s, plus 2 times 3r is 6r, and then 2 times s is plus 2s. Then collect the like terms. We have the 3r and the 6r. So this will simply mean we'll have 3r plus 6r plus 3s plus 2s. And then 3r plus 6r is 9r. And then 3s plus 2s is 5. This is plus 5s. So the answer upon simplifying 3, open the bracket, r plus s, close the bracket, plus 2, open the bracket, 3r plus s, close the bracket, is 9r plus 5s. We now go and check in the alternatives. The first one, 9r plus 2s, is not correct. B, 9r plus 3s, not correct. And then C, 9r plus 5s. And this is what we got upon working out this question. So we will circle C to indicate that this is our correct answer. And then question number 3. The diagram below shows line R and T. These are supposed to be labeled as R and T. So if this line is R, this one will be T. The diagram below shows line R and T. So these are the lines that we are having. And then the question says, we are to find the value of x and y which will satisfy both line R and T. Indicate, you have to indicate the values of R and T, which will satisfy both lines. Both lines. So the solution to this will be the intersection of the two lines. And then where do the two lines intersect? The two lines are intersecting at -2, 2. So we look for the point, the coordinate point -2, 2. And then where is that point represented? A is -3, 0, and this is not what we are looking for. C, -1, 0, and then D, 2, 2. We are left with B, which is -2, 2. And that is the intersection of the line R and T. So we'll circle B. That's how we answer this question. And then question number 4 says, which of the following is a rational number? So before you can answer this question, you need to know what a rational number is. Rational numbers are numbers which can be expressed in the form P over Q. And here Q is not equals to 0. The Q is not equals to 0. And they include whole numbers, they include fractions, they include square root of square numbers. And then now we will check. All the square root of numbers except square numbers are irrational. So the square root of any number except a square number is irrational. But then this question is saying we are to find the number from the list given, which is a rational number. So we'll check. B, square root of 3. Square root of 3. 3 is not a square number. Therefore, 3 is not rational. It's irrational because we are saying all the square root of all numbers other than square numbers are irrational. So the square root of 3 is irrational. Square root of 2 is also irrational. And then square root of 15. 15 is not a square number. Therefore, the square root of 15 is also irrational. And then what about the square root of 4? Square root of 4, this is equals to 2. Because square root of 4 can be evaluated. And then upon evaluating square root of 4, you'll find that the square root of 4 is 2. And this fall under the class of numbers called the rational numbers. So you'll circle the letter A to indicate that this is the correct answer that you found. This is how you answer these questions. Remember to always circle the alternatives that you think is correct. And before you can circle it, remember to work out the questions. Don't jump into drawing a conclusion without working questions out. It is very important that you work them out. Then after working them out, that's when you can go to the alternatives and then check the alternative that we got. And then after checking, you circle the answer represented by that alternative. We are working on mathematics paper 1, and this is a multiple choice paper in which you are not expected to use a calculator. You can only use a set of mathematical instruments, no calculators. And then we are at question number 5. Question number 5 says, a cyclist travels a distance of 95 kilometers in 5 hours. Calculate the average speed of the cyclist. So it says you have to find the average speed. How do you find the average speed? Speed equals to the total distance divided by the time taken. So this is how we calculate speed. And then we've got the distance as 95 kilometers. So this will simply mean this will be 95 kilometers divided by 5 hours. And then this will be 5 into 5 is 1, 5 into 9 is 1, remainder 4. And then that will be 5 into 45, giving 9. So all that we are saying is the speed is given as 19 kilometers per an hour. This is how you calculate the speed. The speed is given as the distance traveled over the total time taken. And upon working out this question where we are given the distance as 95 kilometers, the time as 5 hours, we found that the average speed is 19 kilometers per an hour. You now check in the alternatives and then circle the alternative representing 19 kilometers per an hour. A is 11 kilometers per an hour. That's not what we got. C, 90 kilometers per an hour. And then we have D, 100 kilometers per an hour. So the correct alternative here is B. You circle B, where we have the 19 kilometers per an hour. And let's look at question number 6 now. Question number 6 says, work out minus 20 divided by 5 plus 6 times 2. So this is what is given. Before you can work out this, you need to apply what we call the BODMAS rule. You apply the BODMAS rule, which says brackets of multiplication, division, addition, and then subtraction. So you apply the BODMAS rule. You apply the BODMAS rule. Brackets of division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. So we'll check. Do you have the brackets? We don't have the brackets. And then it means after the brackets we are to divide. So here it means we are going to work out what minus 20 divided by 5 is. So we'll work out this. And then plus multiplication should come before addition and subtraction. So we'll work out the 6 times 2. This will be 6 times 2. And then minus 20 divided by 5 is minus 4. Plus 6 times 2 is 12. And then minus 4 plus 12 is 8. So the answer to this question is 8. Here, questions of this kind, you simply need to apply what we call the BODMAS rule, where you are to remove the brackets, then you divide, multiply, then add or subtract. That's how you apply the BODMAS rule. And we found that in question number 6, the answer is 8. B, we got 4. C, negative 16. D is minus 20. Now, the correct answer to this question is 8, which is represented at alternative A. So we'll circle A to indicate that we have answered this question. And then question number 7. Question number 7 says, work out 5, 2, 1, 7 minus 3 minus 1, 5, 7. So these are matrices, and then you are expected to work them out. How do you work matrices out? This is subtraction. So when you subtract matrices, all that you need to do is to add numbers in the same entry. So here you are going to add 5 and a 3, 1 and a 5, 2. In fact, it's not adding, but we are subtracting, not adding. We are subtracting. According to this question, is subtraction. So it's 5 minus 3, 1 minus 5, 2 minus 1, and then 7 minus 7. And then this will be 5 minus 3 is 2. And then 1 minus 5, it's minus 4. And then 2 minus 1 is positive 3. And then 2 minus 7 is negative 5. Not 2, but rather 7 minus 7 is 0. All that you need to do is to subtract numbers in the same entry. So let's check if at all that is what we did. It's 5 minus 3. 5 minus 3 is 2. And then 1 minus 5 is minus 4. And then 2 minus 1 is positive 3. And then 7 minus 7 is 0. So the answer to this is 2 minus 4, 3, 0. You will check this in the alternatives given. The first alternative is 2, 4, minus 3, 0. And that's not what we got. C, 14, 32, negative 1, 59. This is also not the correct solution to this question. Then D, 16, 18, 13, and 39. This is also not the correct solution to these matrices. And now, the correct answer will be 2 minus 4, 3, 0. So you'll circle B to indicate that this is the correct answer. Here we are subtracting matrices, not adding, so remember that. And then the next question says you are to calculate the area of the shape shown below. So we have the shape here given, and then all that we are expected to do is to calculate its area. How do we find the area of this? When we look into this, we can see that this can be partitioned into triangles. It can be partitioned into triangle where we can call this triangle to be A, and then we can call this triangle to be B. So the area of triangle A, is equals to half times 14 times 6. So this is how you calculate the area of a triangle. It's half base times the height. So we'll take the height to be 6, and then the base will be 14. So it's just half times 14 times 6. And then 2 here once. 2 into 14 is 7. And then you have 1 times 7 times 6. 1 times 7 times 6 is 42. So the area of this is 42 centimeters squared. And then what about the area of triangle B? Area of triangle B will be equals to half the base times the height. So we can take the base also to be 14. So it's half times 14. And remember, the base and the height should be perpendicular. So it's half times 14 times 7. It's half times 14 times 7. And then what is half times 14 times 7? 2 here once. 2 into 14 is 7. And then 7 times 7 is 49. Then the area of this figure will be 42 plus 49, because it says you are to find the area of the whole diagram here. So the area will be 42 plus 49. We are adding 2 plus 9, it's 1, carry 1, and then 4 plus 4, it's 8, plus 1, it's 9. So all that we are saying is the area of the diagram is 91 centimeters squared. And then we check in alternatives. B, 133, this is not the correct answer. C, 140 is also not the correct answer. And then we have D as 182. It's not the correct answer as well. The correct answer to this question is 91 centimeters squared, which is represented at A. So you circle this alternative A, 91 centimeters squared. And remember here, to find the area of this shape, all we did is to partition this into 2 triangles. Then we calculated the area of each triangle. Then after finding the area of each triangle, we add the 2. This will give us the area of the whole figure. We are working on mathematics paper 1, and this is a multiple choice paper. So remember, to indicate that you have answered the question, you are expected to circle the correct alternative. And we are at question number 9. The question says, calculate the value of x cubed minus 2xy when x equals to 2 and y is equals to 5. So you are given the expression x cubed minus 2xy. And then in this expression, you are told that x is equals to 2. So this simply means it's 2 to the power 3 minus 2 times the 2, because x, the value of x according to this is equals to 2. So everywhere you find x, you substitute 2. So this will be minus 2 times 2 times y. And then what is y? Y is equals to 5. So we now have 2 cubed minus 2 times 2 times 5. And then what is 2 to the power 3? 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. 2 to the power 3 is simply saying multiply 2 3 times. So when we multiply 2 3 times, we are going to get 8. Not 2 times 3, no. it says multiply 2 3 times. So this will be 2 times 2 times 2 minus 2 times 2 is 4 times 5 is 20. So we have 8 minus 20. And then what is 8 minus 20? 8 minus 20 is equals to minus 12. So this is what we got upon calculating x cubed minus 2xy when given x as 2, y as 5. The answer is minus 12. So we check in the alternatives. The first alternative A is 28, and according to what we worked out, this is not the correct answer. B is 26, and then D is negative 14. The correct answer is represented at C. So we will circle C to indicate that this is the correct answer as per our working. And then question number 10. It says the sum of the interior angles of a regular polygon is 1260 degrees. Then you are expected to find the number of sides the polygon has. This question should be find the number of sides the polygon has. Find the number of sides. You are to find the number of sides for this polygon. We told that the sum of the interior angles of a polygon is 1260 degrees, and then you have to find the number of sides this polygon has. The sum of the interior angles of a polygon is given as n minus 2 times 180 degrees. This is the formula which is used to calculate the sum of the interior angles of a polygon. And then n here is the number of sides. And then do we know what n is? We don't know. This is what we are expected to calculate. So this will simply mean we have n minus 2 inside the bracket times the 180 degrees, giving us 1260 degrees. And then we can divide both sides by 180. Divide by 180 here, divide by 180 degrees. 180 cancels 180, and then the 0 here cancels the 0 here. So we are left with 126 over 18. So all that we are saying is n minus 2 is equals to 126 divided by 18. And then 6 into 18, it's a 3. 6 into 12 is 2. 6 into 6 is 1. Meaning we have n minus 2, it's equals to 21 out of 3. And then what is 21 divided by 3? This is equals to 7. So all that we are saying is n minus 2 is equals to 7. So the value of n will be 7 plus 2. And then 7 plus 2 is 9. So the answer to this is 9. Remember, we are saying the value of n is equals to 9. And then n in this formula, n minus 2 times 180, represent the number of sides the polygon has. So here it means the number of sides for this polygon is 9. So we'll go back to the alternatives. Check in our alternatives. Do we have 9 anywhere within our alternatives? The first one is A, which is given as 5. This is not the correct answer. B, we are given it as 6. It's also not the correct answer. And then C, it's 8. This is also not the correct answer. The correct answer is represented at D, where D is 9. So this is how you find the number of sides for a polygon. All you need to do is to use the formula n minus 2 times 180. This is the formula used for calculating the sum of the interior angles of a polygon. And n here represent the number of sides. I've come to the end of this lesson, but before I let you go, I need to remind you that it is very important that you start revision earlier. Start revising well in time so that you can ask for help from your teachers. Also, you will avoid running risk of actually panicking where you are going to start revising late and then you don't know where to touch. So it is important that you start revising when there's still time so that you can ask for help from your teachers. And then also, it is important that you revise past exam papers so that they can gauge your understanding. The exam papers basically are what other students have written in the past. They represent a true exam of the past. So it is important that you look into them so that you know how the paper looks like. From me, until we meet again in the next lesson, goodbye.